Okay, so we always talk about how hard it is to create content, right? And you've had that experience where you're looking at Claude or ChatGPT and you're like, write me an article, and it just puts out something, and you look at it and you're like, this is just okay. I mean, it's not me, it's not great, but it's just okay. And of course, you get to people who are using AI differently, and they say, "Oh, you got to you got to do it differently. You got to use more stuff." And at the same time, you have that other crowd of people that are talking about how they use Claude and other tools to code, and they start talking about a harness. And you're going, okay, what does a harness have to do with anything? A harness is the guidelines, the guardrails, the frameworks, the tools that you can use, etc. And you go, that's great, but I don't write code. Well, I want to show you what a harness looks like when you're talking about writing content. This harness is a tool. The tool itself is empty. There is literally, this is called Content Creator. I built it. It's a desktop app, and it's empty. There's nothing in it except all the ways in which the things you put in work together, right? That's what it's doing. So I come in here and I look at my profile, and at the bottom, you'll see a way to import my voice profile. You've heard me talk about how important it is to have a voice profile. It's over at yourvoiceprofile.com or yourplatformprofile.com, right? How do you work with social media? Well, this thing, you can come in and look at it, right? It'll pop it up, and here's all the stuff that you had produced for you. You can drop it in. You can write your own and just drop it in too, right? You don't need to use my tools, but this gives you a way to stick your voice profile and your platform profile in it. Also, you know how important it is to have targeted audiences. So if you've gone to youraudience.segments.com, you can have all that work done, and then you can import it here, and you'll see I have 6 different audience segments so that when I write to specific people. But when I come back in here, I have more than just my profiles, right? What are the models that I'm using? Oh, I'm using Opus 4.8, I'm using GPT 5.5, I'm using GLM 5.2. You may be using completely different ones. It's not hard-coded into the app. You get to add any model that makes sense for you. And you can use it via the CLI, you can use it via an API key. That's all good. Then we get into frameworks. Now, these are mine. They're not going to be yours. But it's how do you break down your thinking when it comes to writing? If you've heard me talk about your content agent, that's where all these things come from. What about your MCPs? Those are the outbound connections to other platforms. You can add as many MCPs as you want. I have my website one and all my Twitter bookmarks. Content Studio is where I push out to social platforms. Google is my Google Analytics and Google Search Console. And Kit is where I do all my emailing, right? Now, I also have all my anti-AI rules. You can add any rules you want. I have utilities like exporting all this, importing all this, and being able to do some things like importing all my existing articles so that I can use that as a source. Or how about going and get the URLs for those articles, or let me enhance those articles with data related to Google Analytics, and even let me generate summaries of those articles. All that becomes powerful when I bring in these are like 80 articles that I've written, and every one of these articles has what tags are in my system and who it's for, when it was published, what the URL is. And if I go into the details of one of these, right, I can come into here to view, right? This gives me the article, and somewhere in here, right, I'll find it. All the details about traffic and everything else. And why is that all important? Because when I go to topics, these topics are produced by creating that synergy between going, oh, okay, what did you write about? But also, who is it written for? What have you not written? What are the gaps? But also, what of your content is getting traffic and pulling that in, right? All that stuff has to come together to brainstorm this. And then you'll see, you've heard me talk a lot about rubrics. What are the things that we're evaluating and measuring so that we can score these and say, this is a better idea than this idea over here? And I can take any one of these ideas for any one of my segments, and I can click on draft, or I can suck in research, right? And I can parse the research, read the research, review the research, map it to different audiences, map it to content I've already done. And that way I can take either research or a topic and click on the draft. And when I go into draft, it goes, okay, here's the start of it. And then I can use any model I want to start having this conversation. And when I get to the end, I can have an article that I've worked on. I can push it to my website. I can push it to my newsletter. I can push it to Facebook. If I wanted to push it to Twitter and LinkedIn, I can do that too, right? All through here. And all of it is free and clear, right? Of Chris Lemma, my specific stuff. You can put your own MCPs. You can put your own models. You can put your own frameworks. You can put your own content. This is just a harness. It's not a harness for creating code. It's a harness for creating content. But the harness does what the harness does. It understands tools, guardrails, how these things collaborate. It works at the loop, right? How to improve and improve. It understands rubrics, how to score. All that stuff that's sitting behind the scenes, that's what makes your Claude Code or your Codex generate really good usable code. Without the harness, you're just one-shotting everything. And that's the same thing that happens when you go to a chat and you say, write me an article. You're one-shotting an article. You're guaranteed slop, right? And that's not what you want. So you're thinking, we're going to get to the end of this and I'm going to tell you how much it costs. It's free, right? I just built it as a way to demonstrate what a harness looks like outside of the coding world. You can go to github.com/Chris Lemma, and up in the top right on the pinned projects, there is Content Creator, and it is totally free. I'll also put a link down here in the article.